very encouraging to me. I guess my question goes to all three of you. My alma mater is Purdue University, and in my district, there are a few notable alumni that we like to take claim to, one of those being Neil Armstrong. So but 50 years ago, the world united to witness and celebrate that giant leap for mankind when Neil Armstrong took the first step to the moon. So when we return to the moon in a few years, what do you think the impact will be? And I know some of you have already addressed that, but I would like to give you another opportunity. And then what additional advancements would you anticipate that we might find when we do that? You can start, any one of you.
Well, I think one thing to remember, we've talked about clarity of mission in terms of going to the moon in the 1960s, but there was also clarity of purpose. And so I think if the United States is going back to the moon, I think one thing we need to be able to do is explain both to ourselves and to the public why we're going back to the moon and what that will accomplish and what the next step after that is. What's the, not just here's what we are doing, but to be able to make the case for why we're doing it and what value it has. And I think that's a really important element of the next stage of development.
I think also Gene Cernan goes on that list from Purdue.
Say again?
Gene Cernan, I think, also goes on the list as a graduate of Purdue. So just checking. But, you know, I think, let's zoom back to the 1200s. Marco Polo opens up trade routes through China. I guess 1400s or 1500s, Magellan sets out to circumnavigate the world. I'm sure there are a lot of people who say, why are we doing this? You know, what a waste of resources. What, you know, but it changed everything. And so every time civilization has crossed a big river, gone over mountains, sailed the oceans, on average, you know, civilization has advanced. Space is the new ocean. We can't predict all the steps through it, but we're in 50 years. I think the biggest thing is we're gonna look back and say, what took us so long? Because everything will have changed if we're willing to do the mission.
Just sort of following on that, you know, there's a quote that if I knew what I was going to find, we wouldn't call it research. And I think we always have made investments in things that we couldn't anticipate what the outcomes would be, multiple outcomes and so forth. So I think we somehow have to marshal a commitment to research. And again, I think one of the members mentioned it earlier about you know, every few years the mission changes, but I think we need to somehow establish, independent of changing leadership and changing political establishments, that research and exploration always has a place in what we do, and very much associated with a free society to pursue those goals. So that to me is the goal. How we do it is perhaps more complex.
Thank you. And then, Dr. Miller, you mentioned, and I have a background in agriculture, so when you talked about placement of fertilizers and chemicals and all of that, has been a tremendous advancement in the last decade. And a lot of that originated with some of the space program technology. Any other thoughts you'd like to elaborate, or any one of you? I've got about 40 seconds, so.
Oh. You know, I think the biggest impact is I know firsthand that there's a wealth of the younger generation that are pursuing degrees in engineering and science that just have a passion for space. And sometimes I think the most powerful thing I can do as a teacher is give them the resources and get out of their way. And I'm just amazed by what they're able to accomplish. So if we can get out of their way, all the better.
Thank you, and I'm out of time, and I yield back.
Thank you very much, Ms. Horn.
Thank you.